And welcome back to South Carolina Legion Field, Greenwood. And it is an elimination game between the number 3 and number 4 ranked teams in the country, Georgia Southern and High Point University. High Point is the number 4 ranked team in the country, behind the Georgia Southern Eagles by 1. But because they went 12-0 in conference, Georgia Southern had a conference loss. High Point is the home team for this game, but it doesn't really matter for either of them for rankings at this point, because one of these teams, if they want to advance to nationals, they've got to win 4 consecutive games, starting with this one. High Point's putting out basically the same lineup as yesterday, same defensively. Only exceptions are that Nagel at third has moved up to 5th in the order, 1 spot, and Brent Rowe dropped down to 6th. Everything else still the same. DeMonte, the DH. Tuttle, who came into the game at catcher as a substitution for James Smith, he gets the start at catcher today. And the starting pitcher is Nico Vasquez, who has not had a start in about a month's worth of time. 2-0 record this season, 3 appearances, all of them starts for the freshman from New York. 15 innings pitched, 9 hits, only 2 earned runs, 18 strikeouts to just 7 walks, and a 1.2 ERA for number 21 on the mound for High Point. And for the Georgia Southern Eagles, it'll be Walker Langston, number 10, leading off in left field. Christian Perkins batting second at second base. Ryan Anderson, the DH, batting third. Josh Zerlot, the third baseman, batting cleanup. Garrison Pierce, the first baseman, batting fifth. Jacob Woods, the right fielder, batting fifth. Chase Thomas, the catcher, bats seventh. Joey Smith, the shortstop, bats eighth. And Avery Ellenboss, the center fielder, will bat ninth. Sean Smith is on the mound for the Eagles. And for High Point, they turn to Vasquez, and it's really a kind of an unknown for Vasquez as to how he's going to bounce back. He had an injury with his elbow. You can see from here he's got a sleeve, a compression sleeve on his right arm, his throwing arm. And that is going to be a factor, kind of a question mark for Vasquez coming into this game. How will he respond in his first start back from injury? And for the rest of the Panthers, they went deep into their bullpen yesterday, 5 arms through yesterday, but they still have a lot left in the tank in terms of bullpen pitching. Louis Aroni did not throw yesterday, neither did Semler Dietrich or Scott Samanchik, a couple of bullpen arms for High Point that they still have in their arsenal, as well as Bradley Robinette, who you would think would get the start against North Georgia should it come to that. High Point's got to win this game, and if they do, they'll take on North Georgia again immediately after this game. If they lose, their season is over, and they will not be returning to nationals for the 2nd consecutive year. High Point had no problem putting up runs yesterday, but they left a ton of runners in scoring position. They scored 8 runs on only 6 hits. North Georgia committed 7 errors, and High Point left 9 men on base. They only struck out twice the entire game. They put a ton of balls in play, and their 2 strikeouts were looking. So when they swung, they were putting the ball in play, and North Georgia tried to give them the game at the end. They made 2 errors in the bottom of the 7th. High Point plated 1, but they needed 2 to force extras, and they couldn't get it done. And we'll start things off here with Walker Langston, the left fielder. Nico Vasquez towing the rubber, delivers, and it's upstairs for ball 1. The 1-0 is swung on, and the helmet almost came off there on the swing by Langston, and the count evens up. Vasquez working from the windup, and the throw is just low for ball 2. That one just barely missed. Two one just a bit inside. It's a good spot for Vasquez, but the count runs to 3-1. Big hitters count for the leadoff man for Georgia Southern. 3-1 from Vasquez is low for ball 4. So the leadoff man is aboard via the walk. Not a great start to the outing for Vasquez, and it'll bring up Christian Perkins. Vasquez looks once, fires to Perkins, and it's in there for called strike one. Nice bounce back pitch from Vasquez to get ahead in the count here. Couldn't do that in the last at bat. Vasquez fires again. That one skips its way into the plate, but a good block from Tuttle keeps it from the backstop. Count even at 1, and Langston will stay at first. High Point in gray hats, purple jerseys, gray pants. That's a good move by Vasquez over to first, but not quite in time to get Langston. Georgia Southern in white jerseys, blue hats, white pants. Langston runs. It's a hit and run. The ball to Nagel at third. Good job to pick it up. The throw to first is in time. And Harris, a good rotation over to third to cover the bag and prevent Langston from being able to go to third. So he's on second, and there's one away. And comes Ryan Anderson, the DH. With a runner in scoring position, it's Langston. Vasquez's first pitch is a called strike for the second consecutive at-bat. Josh Zerlot, number 1, the DH. The third baseman is on deck. The DH, Anderson, number 18. In the right-handed batter's box, Vasquez looks back at Langston, makes a move back, throw to Oswick of the Garden variety. Vasquez steps off. He is really being affected by Langston over there at second. Vasquez throws and skips it in. Tuttle, another good block per usual for him. And again, the count will be even at 1. Vasquez has a base open. Spin and throw back to second. It's a good move, but just barely in time. Getting back to second is Langston. That was a great pickoff by Vasquez, but Langston did get back in time. Oswick, a good tag on the helmet, but the hand just in there for Langston. Count still 1-1 at the plate to Anderson, and the pitch is inside for ball 2. Again, if you missed the pregame, bullpen arms available for High Point include Semler, Dietrich, Scott Samanchik, and Lewis Aroni. Vasquez throws another one, and it's grounded to short. Harris picks up, throw to third, is going to be in time. Poor base running from Langston. He moved on contact, and it was an easy play from Harris to get the lead runner at third. Anderson advances to first on the fielder's choice, and there's 2 away. Great awareness there by James Harris to make the right play. And if you're Langston, you've got to see that ball through before you start moving. He was gunning on contact. Thought he could make it to third in time, and he could not. Josh Zerlot is at the plate, the third baseman. And the third consecutive first pitch strike from Vasquez. Vasquez gets ready for the pitch. And this one's fouled back by Zerlot. And for the first time, Vasquez has himself in an 0-2 count with a chance to get out of the inning. Vasquez fires the 0-2, and it's fouled out of play just barely by Zerlot. And the count will stay 0-2. 15 pitches in the inning now for Vasquez. Oh, 2 is upstairs. Not a bad idea from Vasquez. Get Zerlot to chase for it, but it's 1-2. Anderson still at first. Takes his lead. Here's the pitch, and it's in the dirt. It gets by Tuttle, and Anderson will advance to second on the wild pitch. So now a runner in scoring position for the Eagles. Vasquez from the stretch gets ready for the 2-2, kicks and fires, and it's called strike 3. Vasquez will strut his way to the dugout, gets his way out of a jam. He had that leadoff walk, but the left side of the infield did him wonders to help him get out of the inning. Backed by a backwards K to end things, and the High Point Panthers will come to bat in the bottom of the first. And it's time for the bottom of the first. DeWitt, Dan Savino, and Cush due up 1, 2, 3 for the Panthers. Same 3 that were the top of the order yesterday. Dan Savino, of course, had himself a day yesterday. 3 for 5 with 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and a stolen base. Sean Smith, the pitcher on the mound for the Eagles. First pitch is low to DeWitt for ball 1. DeWitt yesterday, 1 for 4 with a walk, a single, 2 runs scored, and a steal. And the count 1-1 to the Panther leadoff, number 5. And the center fielder, 1-1 upstairs, ball 2. A lot of noise coming from the High Point dugout today. Both of these teams' seasons on the line. DeWitt fouls 1 back, out of play, and the count even at 2. DeWitt checked his swing, but the ball just barely nicked off of the bat, and it will stay 2-2. From the windup, Smith fires the 2-2 again, and it's high for ball 3. Man, if DeWitt can get aboard, that is a recipe for success more times than not for the Panthers. DeWitt scored 2 of the 3 times that he reached base yesterday. The only time he didn't was when he was stranded on first to end the game. 3-2. Skied high into shallow left by DeWitt. This is in no man's land, and it's caught by the shortstop, Smith, for out number 1. That was a dangerous play. Those drop for you sometimes, but DeWitt couldn't get lucky on that one. And he is retired to start the home half of the inning. So in comes Dan Savino, who was one of the few Panthers who had it really working for him at the plate yesterday. A lot of hard hit balls by the Panthers, but Savino's were some of the only ones that dropped. High Point only had 6 yesterday. Savino had 3 of them. He squares to bunt, and he went around, and it's strike 1. North Georgia awaits the winner of this game immediately following it. Savino drives this one deep into right center, and it is going to be caught on the run by the right fielder, Jacob Woods, for out number 2, and Savino barreled that ball, but playable. And 2 are away in the home half of the first. Oliver Cush will come to the plate. He doubled in the first yesterday. 1 for 3 with the double, a walk, a steal, and a run scored. First pitch misses for ball 1. Panther left fielder fouls this one back. Count 1-1. Looked like a changeup, but it missed high for ball 2. High Point has only lost to 2 teams all season long as the 2-1 skips its way to the backstop. Count will be 3-1. High Point has 4 losses on the season, and of those 4, 2 of them to Maryland, 2 of them to North Georgia. They swept every other team they saw this season. 3-1. Is low, and Cush is aboard with a walk. First base runner of the day for High Point. Counting yesterday's one-run loss to North Georgia, High Point on the season run differential-wise plus 128. Their 2 losses to North Georgia were both by 1 run. Another 1-run loss to Maryland, and then a 2-run loss to Maryland. So every game that they have lost has been close. This team has not been blown out all season long. Count to Brady Oswick is 1-0. Panthers second baseman. That pitch was very low and outside, but still called a strike, and count even at 1. Oswick looked back at the umpire after that one. 1-1. Oswick skies it high, shallow right. Second baseman has it and retires the side. Perkins makes the catch, and that'll do it for the first. Scoreless as we head to the second. And we're back for the top of the second. 5-6-7 due up for the Eagles. Vasquez back out for his second inning of work. Still scoreless here in Greenwood, South Carolina at Legion Field. Garrison Pierce will start things off for the Eagles at the plate. And a big swing from Pierce is a miss for strike 1. After walking Langston to start the game, Vasquez has come back with 4 straight first pitch strikes, as there's another swing by Pierce, and he's quickly behind 0-2. Infield playing at their normal positions. Here's the 0-2, and it's low. That one might have stung Tuttle a little bit. Count 1-2. Jacob Woods, the right fielder, is on deck, and Chase Thomas, the catcher, behind him in the 7-hole. Count 1-2 from Vasquez to Pierce. And here's the pitch. Way upstairs, and Pierce went after it for strike 3. That is a gift to Nico Vasquez, and it's his second strikeout of the afternoon, I should say. And it's out number 1. So it will bring up Jacob Woods, the right fielder, and he swings at the first pitch for a strike as he misses that one. Now 5 straight first pitch strikes for Vasquez, and he's working quickly on Woods. The 0-1. Fouled back, and quickly again Vasquez ahead 0-2. Man, when he gets in a rhythm like this, it is hard to get anything done against him. Vasquez likes to work quickly, and that's what he's doing here. He's going to take a minute here with this new baseball. The 1-2, excuse me, 0-2 I should say, is coming. Here it is, and it's low for ball 1. Again, a good location on an 0-2 pitch from Vasquez. He got Pierce to offer at that high cheese for strike 3 in the last at-bat, so why not try to reverse things and go low for this one. The 1-2 is lined into center. DeWitt ranging back, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. And so it'll bring up Chase Thomas. Joey Smith, the shortstop, is on deck if Thomas is able to reach. First pitch, grounded to the left side. Nagel, good job to pick it up, ranging to his left. Throw on first is in time for out number 3. A quick 3 up, 3 down for High Point. On the ground out, Vasquez. We wondered how he would respond after missing a month with an elbow injury, and he has looked just fine. We're heading to the bottom of the second after this. And we're back for the bottom of the second. The 5-hitter today is Drew Nagel. He was in the 6th spot yesterday, jumped up 1. Brent Rowe is on deck. He was bumped down from the 5 spot. 2 of them a combined 0 for 7 yesterday, but Nagel did reach base on a walk in the second inning, ended up coming around to score as part of that big 5-run second. High Point jumped out to a 6-0 lead. They ended up losing 9-8. Here's the first pitch to Nagel. Fouled back by the High Point third baseman, who's already made a couple of good plays in the field so far, in the count 0-1. Rowe on deck, DeMonte behind him. 0-1 pitch is in the dirt for ball 1. DeMonte yesterday also 0 for 3 with a walk. Another one skips its way to the backstop from the pitcher Sean Smith in the count 2-1. The loser of this game, their season is over. The winner will play immediately following this game against North Georgia. Here's the 2-1. High for ball 3, and Smith Looks a little bit rattled in this at bat against Nagel. He is having trouble finding the zone. 3 straight misses after a first pitch strike, and none of them have been particularly close. Here's a 3-1. Fouled back by Nagel. And that'll make the count run full. Already 22 pitches for Smith through 1+. Nagel takes his base on ball 4. That's now the second walk drawn by the Panthers so far today. So a runner on for Brent Rowe, who had a stellar month of April. 11 for 17 with 13 RBIs. Good enough to make him the team leader on RBIs. Ended the season with 18. 13 of them came in the month of April. Really turned it on as the season came to a close. First pitch, bit outside for ball 1. It's a good take from Rowe there. That pitch was very close. Time is called as Nagel will retie his cleat over there on first base. Upstairs, and ball 2 issued to Rowe. Now the thing with Georgia Southern is that they're different than North Georgia in the way that they have a lot more depth. Nobody sits out in the bullpen. They don't have POs like High Point does, but we might see some action in the Georgia Southern bullpen at some point, as there's ball 3 that skips its way in, and Nagel hesitated. Otherwise, he might have been able to take second. Would have been close. And now 7 of the last 8 pitches have been balls from Smith. 3-0 count to Rowe. Georgia Southern in danger of putting a runner in scoring position for the first time today. Rowe will almost certainly be taking here in the 3-0. Nagel takes his lead from the stretches. Smith. And that one's burned right into the top of the zone for strike 1. High Point dugout was letting Smith hear it about how many consecutive balls he'd thrown. And he shook him off after that pitch right at the top of the zone. Big hitters count for Rowe coming up. 3-1 is swung on and missed by Rowe. Count runs full after it was 3-0. Nice bounce back here from Smith. Three-2. Low for ball 4. 2 straight walks by Smith. Both of them in full counts. That is a tough pill to swallow. And so in comes Vito DeMonte. Yesterday he lined out to center, grounded back to the pitcher, walked, and flew out to center. Everything up the middle for DeMonte. Nagel on second, Rowe on first. Tuttle on deck. First pitch to DeMonte is lined into center, and Nagel hesitated, wanted to see it through. He'll have to be held at third, and it'll be bases loaded for Brandon Tuttle. After the single by DeMonte, the first hit of the day for either side. High Point has drawn 3 walks. Only 1 walk drawn by the Eagles. And in will come Brandon Tuttle with the bags full and nobody away. James Harris is on deck. Tuttle offers at the first pitch, swings and misses at strike 1. And I guarantee you the approach that has been told to the High Point batters with as erratic as Smith had been on the mound, is if you get a good first pitch, you got to take a hack at it. It might be the only good pitch you see the entire at-bat. This is now 2 consecutive at-bats where High Point has swung at the first pitch, DeMonte and now Tuttle. There is action in the Georgia Southern bullpen as Tuttle fouls one back, and it's strike 2. 0-2 count for Smith. The arm up is McCall for Georgia Southern. Oh, 2 to Tuttle. Bags are full. Nagel on third. Here's the pitch. Just a bit outside for ball 1. That is a tough pitch to take if you are Tuttle. Did a good job to lay off, though. That's one where sometimes you'll get rung up on it. Might have been the beneficiary of missing a spot. Corners are in for the Eagles. And time was called. Smith didn't finish his delivery. I thought we might have gotten a balk. Count 1-2 to Tuttle. Foul back. And it will stay 1-2. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the second. High Point threatening to plate their first run. With bases loaded, nobody out. Here's the 1-2 again. High for ball 2. Count even at 2. Pitch coming from Smith. I was mistaken. That was 3-2. And no, I was right. It was 2-2. Tuttle took his base. The umpire is now... He called time. The run's going to count. And Nagel runs back to the dugout screaming, "I scored, I scored." Nagel has scored 18 times this season now on the walk by Tuttle. And so it'll bring up Harris. Base is still full. High Point takes the lead. And the umpire is going to talk with Coach Murphy about this one. And so it'll be Rowe on third, DeMonte on second, Tuttle on first for James Harris. And they're going to send Tuttle back to the plate. That's what I had thought. There were only 2 balls, so now there's a full count for Tuttle. So everybody's going to get sent back. Nagel has yet to score. The count is 3-2 to Tuttle. So it's still 0-0. Harris will have to wait for his first plate appearance of the day. And Tuttle will have to wait for the walk. But now he gets a chance to swing away with 3-2 and potentially bring in more than 1 run. "3-2 from Smith to Tuttle. Here it is. He swings and misses, and that's strike 3. And it's the first out of the inning. And it'll bring up James Harris. Still bases loaded, 1 out, but now a double play can get Georgia Southern out of the inning. Upstairs, 4-1. It's a real stand-up job from Coach Murphy to have a talk with the home plate umpire. I mean, it would have been very easy for him to take the run that was given, but he was keeping track and sends everybody back to where they were. And High Point ends up being on the wrong end of the stick there, but it's the right way to play the game. Counts even at 1 after Harris fouls one off. Harris flies one down the left field line. That one is going, and it is foul, just barely. The left fielder Langston laid out for it, wasn't able to make the catch, but it was in foul territory, so it is a long strike 2 for James Harris. Count 1-2 to the High Point shortstop. Quinn DeWitt, the leadoff man, is on deck. Bases are loaded. Nagel on third, Rowe on second, DeMonte on first still. One, 2 to Harris with 1 out. Still scoreless, bottom of the second. Here's the pitch. Again, this one is skied. Could be a sac fly from Harris. Shallow right. Nagel will not tag. It was too shallow. Throw was high. Nagel probably could have gone, but it's out number 2. Can't predict that, though. That's a smart play not to send the runner by third base coach Gene Frazier. That ball was into very, very shallow right field. Catch was made by Woods. And so High Point has gone from bases loaded, nobody out, to bases loaded and 2 outs for Quinn DeWitt. He is 1 for 5 with a single and a walk with 2 runs scored in the regionals so far. First pitch, he squares to bunt, and it's perfectly placed down the third base line. DeWitt beats the throw. He's in time. An RBI infield single for DeWitt. What great situational baseball for High Point, and they're on the board. That was a beautifully placed bunt by DeWitt right down the third base line. Give credit where it's due as well to Zerlot. He barehanded that one and made a great throw. And if it's anybody but Quinn DeWitt coming out of the box, that is a ground out to third to end the inning. But DeWitt gets the RBI. Nagel comes around to score. Rowe to third. DeMonte to second for Dan Savino. Base is still loaded. Still 2 outs. 1-0 High Point. Savino will watch the first one in for a ball. McCall had gone to the Georgia Southern bullpen. He has since returned to the dugout. 1-0. Inside, ball 2 to Dan Savino. Savino fouls one back to the left side. Will fall into the bleachers behind the Georgia Southern dugout. Count 2-1. 45 pitches now for Smith. Through 1 2/3. High Point still only has 2 hits. One of them the bunt single by DeWitt. Upstairs for ball 3. Three walks, 2 hits for High Point through the first 10 batters. Upstairs, ball 4, and that'll bring in another run, an RBI walk for Savino. It's 2-0. Rowe will come in to score. DeMonte rotates to third. DeWitt to second. Savino to first, and it's his 5th RBI of the weekend. It'll bring up Oliver Cush, who walked his first time up. First pitch, high, ball one. Great discipline from High Point on these pitches that are outside of the zone, because it would be very easy to swing away. They put a lot of balls in play yesterday. But you got to take what you're given, and if these pitches are outside the zone, leave them there, as he does again, and Cush gets himself in a 2-0 hitter's count. As you can tell, we're not far from the train tracks here in Greenwood. Smith from the windup. Misses low, ball three. That was another tough pitch to spit at if you're Cush. 3-0 count. RBI ball four is in play here for Cush. That one's in there, strike one. A good take from Cush nonetheless. Still in a hitter's count. Here's the pitch, and he'll foul it back, and now Georgia Southern one pitch away from getting out of the inning. Three-two, two outs, bases loaded. Oswick on deck. Here's Cush. Runners move on the pitch. It's upstairs for ball four, and another run comes in. 3-0 High Point. And that may be it for Smith. First mound visit for Smith doesn't mean that he has to be brought out. But he will be. It'll be McCall who toes the rubber. Smith's day is done, and it'll still be bases loaded with 2 outs for the Panthers when we come back. And we are back here. McCall toes the rubber. Oswick at the plate. Bases loaded. Ball gets by on the wild pitch. First pitch. And the tag won't be in time. And DeWitt will come in to score. So quickly it is now 4-0 High Point on the first pitch of McCall's outing. So the line is not yet complete for Sean Smith. but he walked 5, allowed 2 hits, 1 strikeout through 12 batters faced. Called strike against Oswick. It'll even the count at 1. Dan Savino on third, Oliver Cush on second. Oswick takes it upstairs for ball 2. High Point dugout has gotten loud again here. McCall delivers. Again upstairs, ball 3. Big hitters count for Oswick. In the dirt. McCall had a base to work with after the wild pitch, so the walk doesn't really do any harm, but now High Point has batted around, and Nagel will come to the plate for the second time this inning. Again upstairs, ball 1. This has been a very long bottom of the second. High Point's only plated 4. They've only had 2 hits. Vito DeMonte, 1 up the middle, and Quinn DeWitt, an RBI single on an infield bunt. There's a called strike. So now the count 1-1 to the third baseman in purple. And that one hit him. An RBI hit by pitch for Nagel, and the inning continues. As Savino comes around to score. And it will bring up Brent Rowe. Bases are still loaded. It's 5-0 High Point. Rowe flies this one into right, could end the inning. Coming on is Woods, and he'll make the catch to retire the frame. But the damage already done for High Point. 5 runs across on only 2 hits, and they batted around. We'll be back with the third. Nico Vasquez back out for the third inning after a lengthy bottom of the second. He got cold. He had to go back out to the High Point bullpen and toss for a little bit to stay warm. High Point batted around. They brought 11 batters to the plate in that second inning. 5 runs on only 2 hits, no errors. They left the bases loaded on the fly out by Rowe to end the inning. Every Panther except for the bottom 3 in the order has come to the plate twice already. Meanwhile, Joey Smith steps into the batter's box for his first plate appearance of the day. He'll pop it up, shallow right, foul territory. Rowe is giving chase, and he made the catch. Oh my goodness. Just out of the frame because of the window panes here in the press box, but Rowe was charging up against the fence, and he held on to that one. What a catch by Rowe for out number 1. What a stellar first out of the inning. In comes Ellen Boss, 9-spot center fielder, wears number 9. Pitch misses low for ball 1. That ends a streak of 7 consecutive first pitch strikes for Vasquez. That one's grounded, foul to the left side, and it'll even the count up at 1, so Vasquez wastes no time getting back into the count. One from Vasquez, inside for ball 2. Another arm is getting loose in the Georgia Southern bullpen. Try to find a number, and we can. There's a ground ball to shortstop. Harris picks it up, throws on to first, and it's in time for out number 2. So now back to the top of the order. Walker Langston steps in. He's the only Eagle to reach base so far. It was on a walk to start the game. It looks like it may be Frank who is up in the Georgia Southern bullpen. First pitch to Langston, just misses outside. Good frame by Tuttle, but doesn't get the call, and it's ball 1. Christian Perkins is on deck. Grounded foul to the right side. And that'll even the count up at 1. One. Grounded to the left side through Nagel. Harris picks it up. Throw to first. Let him off the bag. That was a tough play. That was right in between third and short. And it'll be an infield single for Langston, the first hit of the day for the Eagles. And so it brings up Perkins. Walker Langston has reached base both times he's come to the plate. Ryan Anderson also reached on a fielder's choice. Nobody else has reached base for the Eagles so far. First pitch, misses high, ball 1. Didn't miss by much. It's a good spot from Vasquez. Especially on the first pitch. Vasquez from the stretch. He'll fire this one, lined into the right center gap. That one may drop, and it will. That's a well-hit ball from Perkins. Savino will throw it in, and Rowe cuts it off. Good throw from Savino, keeps that one to a single. It was a loud single, but it gets Langston all the way over to third. Now runners on the corners with 1 out. Excuse me, 2 outs, I should say, for Ryan Anderson. Savino did a good job to cut down the angle on that one, took a great path to that baseball, and a good throw kept it from being runners on second and third instead of first and third. Anderson looked like he might have been squaring to bunt. First pitch, off speed, and it's ball one. Here's the 1-0. Off and running is Perkins. Off speed is in there for a strike one called. And Perkins decided to go back to first. He probably could have stolen second easily. Tried to fake the steal to get in a rundown, but Tuttle didn't bite. He's off and running again. This time it was a hit and run, but it's fouled back, and there's 2 strikes. Now, sometimes you'll see that play where on first and third with 2 outs, the runner on first will take off and then slow up before second on purpose to get in a rundown and allow the runner from third to score before being tagged out in between first and second, because with a tag out, if the run scores before, it still counts. But High Point not biting and taking the bait yet. Here's the 1-2 with 2 outs from Vasquez. In the dirt, good block from Tuttle to keep it in front of him. Count even at 2. Perkins on first still. Langston, the leadoff man with speed, is on third. And on deck, Josh Zerlot, the third baseman and cleanup hitter. There is action in the High Point bullpen at Semler Dietrich. Vasquez. That pitch was high, and it's hit high and deep. Savino ranging back, and it's over his head. Just barely missed the catch. 1 run comes in, being waved around from third. The throw is to third, and Nagel will not throw home. It's a 2 RBI double for Ryan Anderson, and it cuts the lead down from 5 to 3. That was a well-hit baseball by Anderson. Savino had a chance to catch that ball, but it was just over the edge of his glove. Maybe got turned around a little bit. And it's a 2 RBI double for Anderson. Came up big in a big spot. And so it'll bring up Josh Zerlot.
Excuse me? You said it was.
And here is the pitch from Vasquez. It's low for ball 1. Throw back to second. Oswick does a good job to get there and catch that ball, keep it from going into center. And it is Vasquez still with a 1-0 count. To Zerlot, who struck out looking to end the first his last time up. Pitches a bit inside to Zerlot. Quick 2-0 count. Vasquez retired the first 2 batters that came to the plate, but since it's gone back to the top of the order, it has been a struggle for the Panthers. 2 runs have come across and another runner in scoring position. That one's popped up to the infield. Vasquez gets called off by Oswick, and it's off the edge of his glove. Nobody's covering second, and wisely Oswick does not throw to second because the run could have come home. Good base running by Zerlot on the E4. It advances all the way to second. Anderson to third, and there's still 2 away. And the infield's going to have a huddle here on the mound. The next pitch for Vasquez will be his 45th. Garrison Pierce, who struck out in the second inning, is at the plate. 2 runners in scoring position. This is the first inning where Georgia Southern has looked like the number 3 ranked team in the country that they came into this tournament being. Coming into the weekend, Georgia Southern, ranked number 3 in the country, High Point number 4, but High Point got the number 1 seed in the tournament because of their conference record. Here's the first pitch to Pierce. Low and away, ball 1. One 0 bounces its way in. Good block from Tuttle. 2-0. Hitters count to the Eagles' first baseman. Swing and a miss from Pierce. It's a big first strike of the at-bat for Vasquez. Strikeout here to end the inning would be huge. Vasquez has 2 Ks so far. Here's the 2-1. That one is lined into left. It's traveling, and it's going to get by Cush. 2 more runs are going to come in. And Pierce is going to get into second standing up. It's a 2 RBI double, and it cuts the lead down to 1. 2 consecutive 2 RBI extra base hits. Not consecutive, I should say, but 5 straight base runners have reached. Anderson comes in to score from third. Zerlot comes in to score from second. Jacob Woods, the right fielder, comes to the plate. Still 2 outs in the inning. All of this damage done with 2 outs. Nice off speed from Vasquez. A good first pitch strike, getting back to his bread and butter against Woods. And the count 0-1. Nobody holding on Pierce at second. Another strike, another of the called variety, and pitch number 50 makes the count 0-2 in favor of Vasquez. Vasquez tried to get Woods to go for the off speed. He holds off, and it's 1-2 after the pitch in the dirt. Vasquez will step off. Big pitch coming for Vasquez with a chance to get out of the inning with a strikeout. Another step off for Vasquez. And he's going to ask for Tuttle to come out. Now the Georgia Southern dugout making some noise. Pretty quick talk between Vasquez and Tuttle. Big pitch coming for Vasquez. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Off speed just barely gets by Tuttle, but he blocked enough of it to keep Pierce from advancing to third. Count still 2-2. Two. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Vasquez. And the Georgia Southern third base coach gives Vasquez the finger as he heads back to the dugout. We're going to go to the bottom of the third. High Point maintains the lead. And we're back for the bottom of the third after a lengthy bottom of the second and lengthy top of the third. High Point plated 5 in the second. Georgia Southern responded with 4 in the third. High Point still has the 1-run lead. And the umpire issued warnings to both dugouts between half innings, while McCall was getting warmed up for the bottom of the third. Vito DeMonte, Brandon Tuttle, and James Harris, the 3 due up for High Point. DeMonte behind 0-1 in the count after fouling off the first pitch. Here's the 0-1. High for ball 1. The team's getting their runs in very different manners. High Point drew a ton of walks in that second inning. Georgia Southern has struggled to find the strike zone as McCall misses again and the count's 2-1. But High Point, Nico Vasquez just got kind of shelled in that third inning. 4 hits, 2 of them doubles. One of those runs was unearned as Zerlot reached on an error by Brady Oswick and ended up coming around to score. There's a called strike at the very top of the zone. Good pitch to take if you're DeMonte. Count 2-2. That one's up over his head for ball 3. Full count to the Panther DH and 7 spot. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Outside, called ball 4. And High Point's leadoff man in the inning is aboard with a walk. Another walk drawn by this Panther team. It's now the 8th walk issued by Georgia Southern pitchers so far, and we're still in the bottom of the third with only nobody out, I should say. There's a called strike 1 to Tuttle. Panther catcher has done a great job behind the dish, per usual, keeping balls from the backstop. This is another deep backstop here, just like at High Point University. Here comes the 0-1. Squares the bunt, went around, but it got out of the catcher's glove, and DeMonte's going to get to second anyway. So it does the job it was intended to do, but it's a strike at the plate. And instead of recording an out on the sacrifice, Tuttle gets another chance to hit. So that pass ball ends up hurting Georgia Southern. See if Tuttle can take advantage of it. 0-2. Tuttle fouls it back, and he will see another pitch. Harris is on deck. He popped out to the right fielder his last time up. Called strike 3 to Tuttle. That's his second strikeout of the game. First time it was swinging, this time it's looking, and it's out number 1. So in comes James Harris. Harris on the weekend is 0 for 5, but he's reached on an error twice and has scored 1 run. Does have a steal as well this weekend. First pitch is a ball low. James Harris came into the postseason a statistical anomaly for High Point, the sophomore from Virginia. In the regular season, he batted 182, but his on-base percentage was .561. He drew 16 walks and got hit by 3 pitches during the course of the season. So his on-base percentage, astronomical compared to his batting average. Here's the 1-1. Low for ball 2. And you have a guy in the 9 spot that can get on base like that. It does wonders for you, especially when he's speedy, and then you have Quinn DeWitt right behind him as well. 2-1 count. Here's the pitch. Harris swings at that one. He was in the opposite batter's box by the time he finished his swing, and it's 2-2. Harris steps back up to the plate. 2-2, 1 out. DeMonte will return to second momentarily. Time was called. Harris skies this one foul towards right field, and it will stay 2-2. Grounded. Left side, DeMonte's going to get to third. The ball hops up, and Harris is safe. An infield single for James Harris. The slow roller works to his advantage. The speed of Harris helps him out. DeMonte read the slow roller well because with the shortstop, Smith, his momentum was taking him towards the first base bag. Would have been a tough throw to go to third with that baseball. So DeMonte smartly advances. And it will bring up the leadoff man, DeWitt. Runners on the corner, still 1 out. For High Point, that's only their third hit of the day. 2 of them infield singles. They've been scoring runs, but not many of them have been via hits, as the first pitch to DeWitt is upstairs for ball 1. Now keep in mind, there is an open base at second. But Harris and DeWitt, both speedy. You're likely not turning 2 on this pair. Harris is off and running. DeWitt showed bunt, pulled back. It's a ball, and Harris is into second. 2 runners in scoring position for the Panthers. Stolen base for Harris, his second of the weekend. Here's the 2-0. Upstairs, ball 3. Now with the steal by Harris, DeWitt, there is a base to work with, but it's first base, so a walk again, not the worst thing ever. Whole infield is in, playing on the cut of the grass. 3-0. Low ball 4, DeWitt takes his base. There's an already vacant first base, and it will bring in Dan Savino with the bases loaded for the second time today in 3 plate appearances. He had an RBI walk his last time up. And it looks like we're going to get a pitching change here for the Eagles. Both teams' season on the line. It makes sense to put your pitchers on a short leash. The loser of this game eliminated. The winner will take on the University of North Georgia immediately following this game, scheduled 3:30 first pitch. And the bullpen arm is going to be Frank. That's the last name. Don't have a first name for this guy quite yet. We'll work on that, but it's the third arm already for North Georgia. Georgia Southern, I should say. An inning and 2/3 pitched by Sean Smith. Only 2/3 of an inning pitched by McCall. He walked 3, hit 1. Allowed 1 hit. No runs against him yet. He did stranded the bases loaded in the bottom of the second, but he leaves the game with the bases loaded for Frank in the bottom of the third. We'll take a quick break and come back. Dan Savino due to hit. Dan Savino steps back in. He will be the first hitter faced by Frank.
Savino already has 5 RBIs this weekend, and that one's grounded to second, could be 2. Throw to second is in time, and first it's not, so another RBI on the fielder's choice by Savino. DeWitt is out at second, but DeMonte comes in to score from third, and there's 2 away. So Frank got the ground ball he needed to get to and get out of the inning, but the speed of Savino prevented it from being an inning-ending double play. There's a first strike to Cush. There's a big fly ball by Cush high into right field. And it's off the glove! It's off the glove! Every High Point base runner thought that the catch was made to end the inning, but a run comes in as Harris scores on the error. Savino advances to third, Cush to second, and it's 7-4 High Point. My goodness, that is a brutal error for Georgia Southern. As the ball just popped out of Jacob Woods' glove, it was in his mitt. And so in comes Oswick. And the count 1-0 to him. Oswick swings and misses at that one. A nice changeup. Some kind of off speed, I'm not sure, but the count even at 1. That one's lined up the middle. That one's going to score 2. Being waved around is Cush. The throw home, not in time. A 2 RBI single for Brady Oswick. He comes through, and it's 9-4 High Point. In the inning, DeMonte, Harris, Savino, and Cush have all come around to score. So High Point has now matched the 4 runs that Georgia Southern scored in the top half of the inning, and their lead is back to 5. Again, that pitch is low, and it's ball 2. Drew Nagel at the plate. Rowe is on deck. Again, it's low, and Nagel ahead 3-0. That one's right over the heart of the plate for a called strike 1. And after that 2 RBI single by Oswick, gosh, how brutal is that error by Woods now? Inning would have been over, and then 3 more runs come in to score. Another pitch taken by Nagel, and it will send Oswick to second on the walk. Nagel takes his base at first, and it will bring up Brent Rowe. And now all 9 Panthers have reached, or have come to the plate, I should say, in the inning. Three walks in the inning, 2 singles, an error, and a fielder's choice have gotten the Panthers to this 4-run bottom of the 3rd. First pitch to Rowe is a ball. That one is lined into left. It's going to drop for a single. Being held at third is Oswick. And so again, the bases will be loaded for the Panthers. And High Point's batted around again. And it will be Vito DeMonte with the bags full and a chance to deliver the kill shot, perhaps. Outside ball 1. one is drilled into right field, and that time Woods makes the catch, and it'll end the inning. That could have been a big shot for DeMonte, but instead Woods makes the catch, and that will end the frame. Coach Frazier has some words for Woods, words of respect hopefully, and that'll end the third. A long inning for both sides. High Point puts up 5 in the bottom of the second, I should say, and both teams plate 4 in the third. We'll head to the fourth. It's 9-4. Top of the fourth coming up. Nico Vasquez back out on the mound for the Panthers, and the first pitch is a strike to Chase Thomas, the catcher of the Georgia Southern Eagles. 7-8-9 due up for Georgia Southern. That one's upstairs, ball 1, count evens. Great half inning of response for the Panthers after they allowed 4 in the top of the third. They come back and put up 4 more of their own, get their lead right back to 5 where it was at the end of the second inning. Let's see if Nico Vasquez can get a shutdown inning on the mound in response. That pitch a bit inside. Count 3-1 after the first pitch strike. Semler Dietrich has resumed throwing in the High Point bullpen, number 3 in purple. 3-1 pitch from Vasquez. Called strike 1 on the inside corner, painted it, and the count 3-2. Vasquez will step off. Dietrich, who's in the bullpen on the year, 4.82 ERA through 9 1/3, 14 hits, 5 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, 5 walks. (3-2) to Thomas is low, 4-4, and he'll take his base. And courtesy runner coming for the catcher, Thomas. Courtesy runner is going to be Rivers. So Rivers on first. Joey Smith, the shortstop, at the plate. Outside, ball 1. Off and running is Rivers. Tuttle pops up, throw is offline. Might have been in time. Good pop time from Tuttle. It was called a strike at the plate, but the steal is on for Rivers. So count 1-1 to Smith at the plate, but a runner in scoring position now. Vasquez from the stretch, nobody holding on Rivers. Oswick comes in. That one is fly to the right side. It's going to get over the fence and out of play. 1-2 count now as it's fouled. Ellen Boss, the center fielder, is on deck. Grounded out to Harris at short his last time up. Oswick and Harris playing in and out at second with Rivers. 1-2, off speed. Oh, beautiful pitch, just barely missed. And the count 2-2. That's the kind of two-strike pitch we see from Robinette a lot, the off speed that breaks back into the zone. Vasquez goes to the fastball a lot more often. See if he does it here. 2-2. It is a fastball. It's popped up. Shallow right center. Oswick coming on. DeWitt calls him off, makes the catch, and it's out number 1. And so it will bring up Avery Ellenboss, the center fielder. It keeps Rivers at second for the time being. Leadoff man Langston is on deck. He's reached base twice. High Point would love to get an out here, whether it be the base runner or the batter, or both. Rivers is off and running for third. Tuttle throw to third, not in time. And Rivers has now stolen second and third. The pitch missed. It's ball 1. So a 1-0 count with a runner 90 feet away. Vasquez fires. That one's grounded to short. Harris had it hop up on him, and a run will score. On the error by Harris, and it's 9-5. And the top of the order comes up. Throw back to first for Ellenboss. Not in time. Langston walked his first time up. Ended up being thrown out at third, if you remember, on a fielder's choice, where it was a ground ball to Harris. Langston was at second. He ended up running on contact. He'll square to bunt here. Pulls back, and the pitch misses the zone. And it's ball 1. Vasquez looks back at first once, twice. Grounded, could be 2. Oswick, Harris, and Rowe for 2 to end the inning. What a play. 4-6-3 gets the Panthers out of a jam. 1 run does come across on the error by Harris, but then a double play to make up for it. And the Panthers lead by 4 heading into the bottom of the 4th. First pitch of the bottom of the fourth comes to Brandon Tuttle, who is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. It's called strike one. Quickly 0-2 against him as Frank is back out on the mound and working quickly on the Panther 8 spot. That one misses. It's ball 1 to Tuttle. And strike 3 called. Tuttle goes down on strikes for the 3rd time in his many plate appearances, and it's out number 1. It's been the first out of the inning all 3 times. High Point has batted around 2 innings in a row. They did not score in the bottom of the first, but 5 in the second, 4 in the third. Puts it at 9-5. From the windup, Frank fires, and it's off the glove of the catcher, Thomas. Harris will take it 1-0. 20 pitches now for Frank. Two runs on Frank so far. The 2-0 count. The pitch to Harris is in there for a called strike 1. Time was called, and although that one sailed its way all the way to the fence, it's a good job by Frank to finish his motion regardless of the location of the pitch. Count still 2-1 to Harris at the plate. Leadoff man DeWitt is on deck, who is 1 for 2 with a fly out, a single, a walk, and a run scored. That one is up at the head of Harris. He didn't take too kindly to it. And the count 3-1. Harris had an infield single his last time up, and Frank has just been tossed. Frank's done. Oh, and he's coming at the umpire. And he's having to be held back. So Frank is done, and that is going to mean that a new pitcher has to come in for Georgia Southern. Oh, and he's throwing his glove now. He's been sent out of the dugout. Now, something we haven't mentioned yet, there's only one umpire today. Second one never showed up. So for him to be calling balls and strikes and then also having to do everything else with it being field, managing tensions between these two teams, got to give him credit. He has done a great job for what has been asked of him. And for you to just go after an umpire like that, no place for it in the game, especially when you have to be held back by your catcher. So there is a new arm on the mound for Georgia Southern. It's going to be McFadden after the ejection of McCall.
Section 23.05, the player pitcher may fails to leave the premises peacefully with their automatic disqualification.
So the count will be 3-1 to James Harris when play resumes. McFadden, a lefty, getting loose. We'll be back after this. So we just had a little powwow at home plate. The mother of McCall, who got tossed, Frank, who got tossed. His mom also got tossed for talking to the umpire after the ejection. And now she's being made, helped to make sure that she is seen out of the ballpark. Meanwhile, a walk drawn by Harris, and then a couple of the parents for Georgia Southern and High Point got rowdy behind home plate, and Ellenboss had to come in and talk to them. Keep in mind, Ellenboss is the center fielder. He came all the way in to calm everybody down and received a standing ovation at the end of it. So Harris drew a walk. It was a 3-1 count. This is the first pitch to DeWitt. It's outside for ball 1. 1 out, bottom of the 4. High Point leads 9-5. Motion back to first, not in time for Harris. DeWitt digs in. Again, 1 for 2 with a single, a run scored, a walk, and a flyout. 1-0. Low for ball 2. Low for ball 3. 4 straight balls thrown by McFadden since coming in relief. 3-0 to DeWitt. That one does find the zone. First strike for McFadden. First strike of the at-bat, and it's 3-1. Called strike at the top of the zone. 3-2 count to DeWitt. Double play could end the inning, but with the speed of Harris and DeWitt, you're likely not going to have that. 3-2 count, 1 out. Motion back to first.
Yeah.
And it is 3-2 with 1 out. Harris is off and running. Throw to second, not in time. It doesn't matter anyway, as DeWitt drew the walk, and now it's runners on first and second. So after DeWitt drew the walk, there's runners on first and second for Savino. First pitch was a strike. That one misses the zone, and it's ball 1 to even the count. That one bounces its way in. Harris and DeWitt will both stay at their bases, but it's ball 2 to Savino. Savino flies this one shallow center, could potentially drop. Instead, it drops into the glove of the shortstop Smith for out number 2. And so it'll bring up Cush, who reached on the error by the right fielder Woods his last time up. Ended up coming around to score. That error prolonged the 3rd inning. Helped High Point put up 4. Harris on second, DeWitt on first. Oswick at the plate, and the pitch is inside for ball 1. Excuse me, this is Cush, I should say. Oswick on deck. Count 1-0 to Cush. Holds off on that one. It's called strike right over the heart of the plate. That one misses And it's ball 2. 2-1 count to Cush. Harrison scoring position. DeWitt on first. The pitch swung on and missed. A big hack by Cush. It's fouled off into the dirt. Georgia Southern 1 strike away from putting up a scoreless inning for the first time since the first. Harris is off and running for third. Pitch is high. DeWitt also takes second on the double steal. So it'll be a full count. Runners on second and third for Cush. That is a smart double steal because now if on the 3-2 pitch Cush can put something in play, you got 2 runners in scoring position instead of 1. Fouled off by Cush. And he'll see another pitch in this at-bat. Three-two. Inside ball 4, and the bases will be loaded for Oswick. Third consecutive inning, I should say, where the Panthers have had the bases loaded at any point in time. Georgia Southern has had a very tough time getting out since that first inning. Oswick drills this one to left center, and it's deep, and it's going to be one hopping the wall. 3 runs are going to score. Cush is being sent around a 3 RBI double for Mr. Oswick. And it is 12-5. First pitch, absolutely hammered. And that is a huge base hit for Oswick. Now, if High Point can somehow, with 2 outs, hang 3 more, the run rule would be in effect for the top of the 5th. That's the 5th RBI of the day for Oswick. That one's taken outside. Count is 1-1 at the plate. To Drew Nagel with Oswick on second. That one hits Nagel. Oswick tried to go to third. He'll head back to second. Nagel will gimp down to first on the hit batsman. And the 2-out rally continues for High Point. And we might have a pitching change here for Georgia Southern. Mound visit at least. McFadden doesn't look like he's going to give up the ball yet. Rowe is at the plate. DeMonte on deck. And like I said, it is 10 runs after 5 innings. We're in the bottom of the 4th. If High Point can plate 3, Rowe would be that 3rd run. If Rowe, Oswick, and Nagel can all come around to score, High Point can hold Georgia Southern scoreless in the top of the 5th, and the run rule would be in effect. There is a run rule for 4 innings. I believe it's 15. But I don't think we're going to get there with 2 outs. You never know. First pitch to Rowe. Upstairs, ball 1. No action in the Georgia Southern pen, but the next mound visit this inning will have to be a pitching change. Keep in mind, McFadden came into this inning after the ejection of Frank, after he threw at the head of Harris, and then went ballistic on the umpire at home plate. 2-0 count to Rowe. Checked his swing on that one. Didn't go around, not even close, but it was a strike, and the count's 2-1. The pitch, turned on by Rowe, was looking to send that one down the left field line, but instead the count 2-2. DeMonte on deck is the only Panther to not come around to the plate this inning. Rowe will dig back into the right-handed batter's box. 25th pitch for McFadden. Outside, called strike. Ball 3, I should say. It was very close. And a full count for Rowe. Runners should be moving on the pitch. Nagel will take his lead at first. Oswick at second. They are moving. And it's outside for no. Called strike 3, a late call. But they get it nonetheless. It's the 4th strikeout for Georgia Southern pitchers today. It ends the inning. High Point will not bat around this time. And we will head to the top of the 5th. 12-5, the High Point lead through 4. Vasquez back out on the mound for the top of the 5th. It'll be 2-3-4 due up for the Eagles of Georgia Southern. Perkins will take the first pitch upstairs for ball 1. A little bit downstairs for ball 2. Perkins is 1 for 2 with a single, a run scored, and a ground out. Fouls that one back, and it's 2-1. Nice off-speed from Vasquez, but it just missed, and the count's 3-1. Haven't had a lot of breaking ball strikes today. (3-1). Low for ball 4, and a leadoff walk issued by Vasquez. They'll bring up Ryan Anderson, who's 1 for 2 Reached on a fielder's choice and doubled. Has 2 RBIs on that double in the third. First pitch misses low for ball 1. Semler Dieterich is in the bullpen warming up for the Panthers still. He's been in there for a couple innings. Vasquez gets set and delivers. That one's grounded to third. It's going to hop off the base and stay fair. That is the definition of down the line. Throw to third. Not going to be in time. It was close from Cush. But another double for Anderson. Right off the base. And so second and third with nobody out. And in comes Zerlot. He's 0 for 2. Reached on an error by Oswick in the third. Came around to score. Struck out looking to end the first. Pitch is low. And it will be ball 1. Vasquez has an open base to work with. Pitch misses and it's ball 2. Tuttle comes out a little bit farther than usual to try to talk to him. Anderson on second after the double. Perkins on third. He walked. Garrison Pierce, who had a double his last time up, he's 1 for 2, is on deck. Called strike on the inside part of the plate. And the count 2-1. High Point needs to hold Georgia Southern here and then put up 3 in the bottom of the inning in order to end this game in 5. There's a foul ball by Zerlot, and the count even at 2. Vasquez toes the rubber for the 2-2 pitch. Still nobody out here in the top of the 5th. Got to work himself out of a jam here. The 2-2 pitch is low for ball 3. Full count to Zerlot. Vasquez is up at 78 pitches. The most pitches he's thrown in an outing this season was 86 at South Carolina back in the middle of March. I believe that was also his last start. Here's the 3-2. Off speed, called strike 3. What a pitch from Vasquez to get the first out of the inning. It's the second time Zerlot has gone down looking on strikes, and it's out number 1. So in comes Garrison Pierce. He had a 2 RBI double his last time up. A base hit of any variety would likely score 2 here. Has also gone down on strikes today. Vasquez fires. And a nice off-speed again. He's got that off-speed working for him. It's a called strike 1. Looks like a slider. 0-1. Swung on, fouled to the left side. And it'll be an 0-2 count to Pierce. Got to think if we play a 6th inning, Vasquez would not return to the mound. But we'll see. The 0-2. Just outside, ball 1. One, two. He went around, got him. And it's the second straight strikeout for Vasquez. He is dealing right now. It's the second time he struck out Pierce, and it's out number 2. An ugly swing from Pierce. And it will bring up Jacob Woods, who is 0 for 2 with a fly out to center and a strikeout. Big spot for Vasquez, the first pitch. Inside ball 1. Tuttle dropped it as well, but nobody able to advance. Off speed breaks right into the bottom part of the zone, and it's strike 1 called. Tell you what, that slider, Vasquez has not used it in the early parts of the count so far today, but he's using it here in the 5th, and it is working to his advantage. Swing and a miss, and it's a 1-2 count now. One pitch away from striking out the side is Vasquez. And this next pitch will officially make it his most pitches in an outing this season. All 3 of his starts, he's gone 5 innings, no more, no less. 1-2. Drilled into center, or right, I should say, and Savino charging on, he makes the catch to end the inning. What a catch by Savino to keep the Eagles scoreless in the 5th. We'll head to the bottom part of the inning. And a fist bump there from Woods, a great catch from right fielder to right fielder. And we'll head to the bottom of the 5th. If High Point can put up 3, that'll do it, and they'll end up playing North Georgia again later today. Find out if they can do it after this. Bottom of the 5th. Bottom 3 in the Panther order due up. DeMonte takes the plate. He is 1 for 2 with a fly out, a walk, and a single up the middle. Has scored 2 runs so far today. First pitch was ball 1. There's another ball. And he's ahead in the count 2-0 quickly. McFadden back out on the rubber after taking over for the ejected Frank in the bottom of the 4th. DeMonte fouls one off. Not quite playable. It's 2-1. Tuttle is on deck. Harris behind him. 2-0. Outside. Excuse me, that was the 2-1, and it's ball 3, so 3-1 count now. High Point hangs on and finishes this game out. They'll take on North Georgia again for the 5th time this season, 2nd time in as many days, in another elimination game as DeMonte takes that one, and it's ball 4. So that will bring up Tuttle, who's 0 for 3. golden sombrero. 3 strikeouts. That one is high and away. Forced the catcher, Thomas, out of his crouch, and it's ball 1. Harris, the shortstop, on deck. If he, Tuttle, and DeMonte all come around to score, that'll end the game. Tuttle fouls it back. Strike 1, evens the count. Scheduled first pitch for the potential elimination game against North Georgia is at 3 p.m. One count to Tuttle. DeMonte jumps, got him leaning the other way, but the throw back not in time, and it jumped out of the first baseman Pierce's glove anyway. DeMonte got caught leaning the other way, and he almost got picked off. Seems like he's okay. And we'll keep playing here. 1-1 count to Tuttle. Another throw back to first for DeMonte. Almost got away from Pierce. And DeMonte could have taken second easily. That one misses again. Two-one to Tuttle. Swings and fouls that one off. It was low and away. Probably could have been ball 3, but instead it counts 2-2. There you see at the bottom of your screen, Oswick, Rowe, Cush, Donahue, and Nagel sitting back, relaxing. They've done a great job today. Oswick specifically has 5 RBIs. DeMonte's off and running. Pitch is high, so the count will be full. The throw is in time, and DeMonte is caught stealing. And that time, Tuttle will take it. And it's ball 4, so he avoids the platinum sombrero. It'll be the second straight walk. Issued by McFadden. So Harris will come to the plate. Pitch is high for ball 1. There's one out in the inning. A runner on first is Tuttle. Excuse me, this is Cole Mitchell, courtesy runner, as Harris skies one to left field down the line, and it's fair. Mitchell is going to halt at second. Harris gets his second hit. He's now 2 for 3 with a pop out, 2 singles, a run scored, a stolen base, 2 runs scored, and a walk. So Mitchell advances to second. It'll bring up the top of the order, DeWitt. DeWitt on the day has scored twice. 1 for 2 with a fly out, a single, and 2 walks. That one's up and in. It gets by. Everybody will take an extra base, and now there's 2 runners in scoring position on the wild pitch. Count 1-0 to DeWitt. 12-5 High Point. If Mitchell, Harris, and DeWitt can come around to score, that'll be the game. Upstairs, ball 2. This has been a statement game for High Point so far. They came in the number 4 team in the country, Georgia Southern the number 3, and High Point has taken it to them. DeWitt grounds it up the middle, should score a run, and it does as Mitchell comes in to score with an RBI ground out for DeWitt. Harris advances to third, and there's 2 outs. And the score is now 13-5. High Point up by 8. And we're going to have a pitching change here. Seems gratuitous in a 13-5 game, but Georgia Southern trying to get everybody in, and McFadden, his hat's off to the crowd for his outing. And so it will be B.B. Lopez who comes to the mound. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Harris is on third. And Dan Savino at the plate. We'll be back after this. We are back. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. High Point leads by 8. The 10-run rule through 5 would be in effect if Dan Savino and James Harris can come around to score. Cole Mitchell, running for Tuttle, has already come around to score in this inning. First pitch from B.B. Lopez is in for a strike to Dan Savino. Savino skies this one high to second base. Ball is called and the out is made for out number 3. So High Point won't be able to end this one in 5. We'll head to the 6th, and it's 13-5 High Point. Top of the 6th, Nico Vasquez is back out for a 6th inning of work. And the first pitch of the 6th is grounded to third. Nagel on to row. Out number 1, Chase Thomas, 1 pitch, 1 out. So already the longest outing of the season for Vasquez pitching-wise in terms of numbers of pitches thrown. But now, innings thrown, it's also his longest outing of the season. Off speed, bottom of the zone. Vasquez gets the call, and it's strike 1 to Joey Smith. Smith 0 for 2 with a pop-up and a flyout. 0-1. Holds off on that one, just barely missed. Honestly, looks like a better spot than the pitch before it, but the count even at 1. That one is way inside, and it's ball 2. 90 pitches now for Vasquez. So that one is outside, and it will be 3-1 from Vasquez. Ellen Boss is on deck, the center fielder. 3-1 the count to the Georgia Southern shortstop. That one's called strike 2. Smith had already started to toss his bat towards the Georgia Southern dugout, and the count runs full. Full count for Vasquez, potentially a big pitch coming. 3-2. Skips its way to home plate. Now he will toss his bat to the dugout, and it's a walk. So the Eagles have a base runner. Ellen Boss comes to the plate. He is 0 for 2. He grounded out and reached on an error by Harris. He's hit the ball to shortstop both times. Ended up being out at second as part of a 4-6-3 double play to end the 4th. Vasquez from the stretch, first pitch. Bottom of the zone, strike 1 called. Diederich had been warming up in the Panther bullpen for a while. He has since sat down. I believe they're going to give the rest of this game to Vasquez unless things get out of hand. With an 8-run lead, why not? The 0-1. Called strike 2, right over the heart of the plate. Smith takes his lead. High and outside, ball 1. Smith is one of 3 players for Georgia Southern with an RBI today. Anderson has 2 on the same hit. Pierce has 2 on the same hit. And Smith had an RBI in the 4th, as that one's out of play, fouled off. Count will stay 1-2. One, 2, 1 out for Vasquez. Double play could end the inning. It's been a pretty good outing for Vasquez. 5 runs, and here we go. That one off speed just barely missed the zone, and it's not going to get the call. Count even at 2. One, 2 for Vasquez. Excuse me, 2-2.
You guys want pizza?
And that's a called strike 3 on the outside corner. And that'll be out number 2 in the inning. Got him looking at strikeout number 6 for Vasquez. And it'll bring up the top of the order Langston. So the next pitch will be number 100 for Vasquez. Langston takes the first pitch, called strike 1. Langston 1 for 2, grounded into the inning-ending double play in the fourth. Has a single, a run scored, and a walk. That one's popped up by Langston. Foul territory, playable for Rowe, and he'll make the catch to end the inning. Beautiful defensive work for Rowe over there in foul territory so far today. And we'll head to the bottom of the sixth. It's still 13-5 High Point. If they put up 2, they can end the game. Bottom of the sixth, 3-4-5 due up for High Point. Cush will start things off. First pitch is inside for ball 1. Cush on the day has scored twice. He's walked 3 times. He's 0 for 1. Has reached base 4 times. Reached on an error by the right fielder in the third. Walked in the first, walked in the second, and walked in the fourth. 2 runs scored. The count 1-1. There's another called strike, 1-2 against Cush. Oswick on deck and Nagel behind him. High Point looking for the kill shot to run rule this game. Breaking ball is inside for ball 2. And with the game going the way it has, can't really blame High Point for not swinging at anything that isn't a beautiful pitch, as that one's fouled off and it will stay 2-2. BB Lopez back out on the mound after he threw only 2 pitches to Dan Savino to get out of the 5th. Time was called at home plate. We've got a new right fielder for Georgia Southern. Can't get a number yet. But it is no longer Jacob Woods. There's a hit into center field, and it's going to be caught by Ellenboss for out number 1. High Point well on their way to a rematch against North Georgia. Oswick watches that one in, called strike 1. Another called strike against Oswick. Lopez working quickly here, 0-2. 0-2 is lined right over the first baseman's head, and that one's going to be played by the new right fielder Rivers, who came around to score. He stole those 2 bases earlier in the game, and it's a single with 1 out for Oswick. Put a runner on first for Nagel. Nagel still looking for his first first at bat, I should say. He's had 4 plate appearances, has been hit by a pitch twice, and has been walked twice. Has come around to score once. 1 run from Lopez is outside, ball 2. Oswick still on first. Rowe on deck. Swinging out of his shoes was Nagel, and the count will be 2-1. Two-one pitch coming to Nagel. And the off-speed is in the dirt for ball 3, so 3-1 big hitters count for Nagel. The 3-1 from Lopez, turned on by Nagel, but he fouled it back in a full count now. Inning-ending double play is in effect. Lopez from the stretch fires in the dirt, ball 4, and now a runner in scoring position is Oswick. Nagel will head to first, and it brings up Rowe. Lopez, the first pitch to Rowe is upstairs for ball 1. Rowe on the game. 1 for 3, has struck out, singled, walked, and scored a run. Oswick on second, Nagel on first. Rowe fouls that one back. Count will be 1-1. Excuse me, 2-1, I should say, I believe. Upstairs. Count is now 2-1. Rowe turns on that one, lines it up the middle. It's going to score a run. Oswick gets sent home. Nagel will stay at second, and an RBI single for Rowe makes it 14-5. Beautifully done by Rowe to get that RBI in. His second hit of the day. It was a rope single. It moves Nagel to second. Oswick comes around to score for the first time today, believe it or not. And it will bring in Vito DeMonte with a chance to end it with a runner in scoring position. Upstairs, ball 1. High Point came out, I said it before, but this was a statement game. 2 teams separated by 1 spot in the rankings. Georgia Southern number 3, High Point number 4. Both of them meeting in the losers bracket. Not sure that that's what people expected coming into the weekend, but that's what happened, and High Point proved that yesterday's loss to North Georgia, they earned another crack at it. North Georgia awaiting the winner here. 3 p.m. scheduled first pitch, might be a little bit later. 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch from Lopez. Called a strike, now 2-2 with still 1 out. Tuttle is on deck. DeMonte, the DH, 1 for 2 today. Has scored twice, walked twice. In the dirt, ball 3, full count. Three-two. Swing and a miss. And it's strike 3 for DeMonte. He's sent down on strikes for the first time today, I should say. Panther batters have only struck out 5 times so far today, and 3 of them were Brandon Tuttle, who comes to the plate now. First pitch to Tuttle is fouled back, strike 1. Whether or not High Point can score this run to end the game in 6, if they get 3 outs in the top of the 7th, it'll be over no matter how many runs Georgia Southern scores, as long as they don't tie it or take the lead. Ball upstairs evens the count. Tuttle grounds this one to the shortstop, and he'll make the play himself unassisted for the fielder's choice to get out number 3. And so we head to the field. High Point will not get the run rule, but we'll come back with the top of the 7th. High Point just needs to keep the Eagles from scoring 9, and we'll be back with it after this. Back out for the top of the 7th. High Point's just got to keep the Eagles of Georgia Southern from plating 9, I should say. Nico Vasquez is back out, looking to complete the complete game for a true 7 innings. He's already thrown 101 pitches, and why not throw him now? I mean, save the rest of your arms for later on. First pitch is inside for ball 1. And really, the fact that Vasquez is still going at this rate is a blessing for High Point, because they get to save all of their bullpen arms for the game later on against North Georgia, which will take place in about half an hour. Count now 2-0. 3-0, I should say now, after that one misses. Everybody has vacated the High Point bullpen. .30 green light is fouled off, and now it's 3-1. Here's the 3-1. Another swing and a foul ball, and it will make the count run full. So High Point allowed 4 runs in the top of the third to cut it down to a 5-4 lead. And since then, Georgia Southern plated 1 in the top of the fourth, but it's been all High Point since. High Point has scored in every run, has scored in every inning except for the first. 3-2 from Vasquez. Off speed, just missed the zone, and it's ball 4. Leadoff base runner is aboard. It's Perkins for the Eagles who will take first. It's his second consecutive walk. Third straight time he's reached base after grounding out in the first. Pretty good day at the plate for him. He's also scored a run. Here comes Anderson, who has 4 total bases today. Last time he doubled one off of third base down the left field line. Has 2 RBIs on a double in the third and a run scored as well. Swing and a miss from Anderson, and it's strike 1. .108 pitches now for Vasquez. Here's 109, another swing and a miss on a similar location, and it's strike 2. Georgia Southern 3 outs away from their season being finished at the hands of High Point. Oh-2 coming. Upstairs, ball 1. This is by far the most pitches that any High Point pitcher has thrown in an appearance so far this season. Here's the 1-2. Down low, ball 2. Count is evened up. 2 apiece. Perkins on first. Zerlot on deck. Zerlot 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a run scored after reaching on an error. Vasquez delivers the 2-2, and it's low for ball 3. If you're Vasquez, I know it sounds simple, but you just got to put the ball over the plate at this point. Up by 9. (3-2). Swung on and lined foul, and the count will stay 3-2. That is pitch number 112 for Vasquez. You got to think that maybe, just maybe, if somebody reaches here, you throw in a short relief arm to try to get you 1 inning. At this point, through 6+, 112 for Vasquez. 6 for Vasquez through 6+. Here's the 3-2 again, and the off-speed called strike 3 on the outside corner for out number 1. 7th strikeout of the afternoon for Vasquez, and it's out number 1 in the 7th. So it'll bring up Zerlot, who has also struck out twice, looking. Of his 7 strikeouts, 4 of them are looking, 3 of them swinging for Vasquez. Double play ball could end the game. And the pitch, swung on and missed by Zerlot for strike 1. A 1 from Vasquez, fake steal. That one's popped up, playable, shallow infield. Nagel and Vasquez are both there. Nagel makes the catch for out number 2. And now the Panthers 1 out away from a rematch with Georgia Southern. Season series is tied at 2 apiece between the two, but Georgia Southern won the most recent and most important of the 4 games between them so far. North Georgia won the recent game last night by 1 run, 9-8, in which High Point held a 6-0 lead. Swing and a miss by Pierce for strike one with 2 outs. High Point won the first 2 meetings against North Georgia, 4-0 and 7-1. Then won 3-2. There's a steal. Tuttle throws down, and it's not in time. Perkins steals second base. And I believe it was ball 1 at the plate to even the count at 1. Pitch number 118 upcoming from Vasquez. Swing and a miss upstairs, and it's strike 2. The Eagles down to their last strike. Big pitch coming for Vasquez to end the game here and send High Point to game 2. That one is popped up, could be playable over towards the Georgia Southern dugout, and it's out of play. Nagel really wanted that one over there at the fence. Harris came charging all the way over from shortstop as well, but it's just another pitch for Vasquez. And the next one will be 120. This is reminiscent of Michael Barnes, who pitched last night for North Georgia against High Point, and also pitched in the other game that High Point lost to North Georgia, where he threw 120 plus pitches. Here's number 120 for Vasquez, skips its way in to even the count at 2. And while it looks like High Point has this game in the bag, crazier things have happened. But down to their last strike, things look slim for the Eagles. 2-2 with 2 outs to the 5-spot Pierce. Vasquez from the stretch, gets set, and he'll step off. Vasquez, off speed is low for ball 3, and the count will be full. High Point, despite the fact that they went 5 deep yesterday, still has a couple of bullpen arms that haven't thrown yet, and that includes Scott Samanchik. That one's fouled back again by Pierce. He's staying alive here, being a pest for Vasquez, and the count 3-2 still. Samanchik, Aroni, and Dieterich all did not pitch for the Panthers yesterday out of the bullpen. Neither did Paulette or Grider or Will Murphy. Brent Rowe has also pitched this season, but the Panthers would prefer to keep him at first. 3-2, grounded, and it's going to roll foul, and Vasquez will kick it towards the dugout. He is frustrated. This has been a long at-bat with Pierce. Now up to 123 pitches. Guy's arm is going to fall off by the end of the night. Count still full. Perkins still at second, despite the fact that he's taken off for third at least once. But all these foul balls have forced him back to second. Another 3-2 from Vasquez coming. And the pitch. Called strike 3, and that'll do it. Vasquez gets the complete game in the win. And it was 8 strikeouts in the performance for him. A beautiful showing. 124 pitches. 5 runs against, but High Point lives to die another day. They will play a rematch against North Georgia coming up right after this. The season over for the number 3 Georgia Southern Eagles. Disappointing as they came in and then lost both games back-to-back. And High Point will play the Nighthawks again